Hey, witches.
Hi, hello. Welcome back to another episode. Almost finished with Onyx Storm.
Yes. Oof. Just oof. So we ended with, like, they're battling Theophany and her peoples, and all of a sudden, Theophany looks terrified and runs away.
And I'm not gonna lie, I honestly thought this would be like the moment that like Xaden would go full throttle.
Right? That's what I wrote in my notes. I was like, what scares Theophany? Xaden? Like, what?
Yeah, I was thinking
But no.
like what did he do?
Yeah. It wasn't him. It was the wards. But with that, in that chapter we also, or in one of the previous chapters, we also found out that Violet was, why did that just feel like that was not her name? That's her fucking name. Anyway, I just had a moment in my brain. That she was committed or conscripted or something to, yeah, we did. Well, the priestesses suspect because of the color of her hair. Okay. And so she's like, there's like suspicion. But the blurb of this chapter, if anything, confirms it to me. Because at least by my notes, it did. Because yeah. I was like, oh, Lilith knew. She knew.
Well, and by that little blurb at the top, she said, I'll never forgive him for what he's done to her.
Yeah.
And reading it now is like, oh, I know exactly why he said that. But like back then I was like, huh? That makes no sense. Why would he be unforgiven? Like, what's so bad about this? I was like, all right, you big crybaby. It's not that bad. And at this time, I didn't know better.
Yeah.
I finished the book, so now I know better.
Yeah. But yep. Arisha's safe now. The word has been fired by the Urid. I can't remember what his name is, but it's been fired.
It's Leothin.
Yep. And he is basically saying that Andarna sucks again, and that she's been ruined by Violet.
And that if she wants redemption, then he must come with her, or she must come with him. Yep. And it's like, excuse the fuck out of me? Like, right now?
Yep.
And Sigale is pissed. She's so protective.
She is
of
Mama Andarna.
Like, that is her child, and I love that.
Yep.
But Taryn is like a grumpy grandpa to her. It's so funny.
But Andarna, she leaves. She leaves. And Violet can't hear her or anything. Like, she's gone.
Yeah, like she because apparently the bond. Yeah, Leothin said that she can undo the bond because she was the second dragon, because technically dragons are only one, like a specific dragons are only allowed to bond once, and she like went against the grain and was like, fuck you, I want her too.
Yeah.
So because she created what was not there before, she was able to remove it.
Yep. And she's gone. She is gone.
And honestly, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I honestly, I feel more betrayed by Andarna.
Yeah.
Like leaving than
I get it. I get it for sure.
Yeah.
Like, you've been different and not alone, but like you don't know your people or your heritage or where you're from. Like, I get that.
Yeah. And it's nice too because Violet did tell her like she can go if that's what she truly wants. And but I'm like, that little bitch.
Yep. She left, and Sigale feels the same as you. She's pissed. She is pissed.
And a lot of people say that like breaking the bonds with your dragon or whatever can be fatal. Obviously, like if one dies, the other one's probably gonna die too. But like
yeah.
You never actually have to live through that. So like she essentially like lived through like a fucking breakup.
Yeah, she did. And I feel like if it weren't for Taryn, she wouldn't have.
Oh yeah, she would have.
Yeah.
Did
she wouldn't
a
have
lot.
survived it.
Yeah. But
and that's the end of chapter 33 or 53. 33. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so basically 54 is all about a lot about her depression, and we do find out like the confirmed suspicion or whatever out of these next chapters. But here's the thing. She's depressed. She's not leaving her bed. She hadn't left her bed for a few days, 3 days. She barely eats. She's essentially going through like a loss. And like I get it. I truly get it. Like you lose something important to you, like of course you're going to go through like that mourning page. Yeah. It's whether it's like death or not, like that's like a typical like a family bond in a way.
Yeah, you're still going to grieve.
Yeah. And like I get it. That's fine.
But because we're in the middle of a fucking war, they call in Mira.
That's annoying.
And trying to have Mira get her out of bed, and Mira's working on it. And then she's like, Mira's like, how did you replace the power that you lost? And she's like, I didn't. What are you talking about? And then Brennan from the hallway is like, if she's awake, then let me in. They're my sisters. And Zayden goes, I can kill him if you prefer. And Mira goes, this is the best. And give him another opportunity to fake his own death? Yeah, okay. So Violet like lets him in and all this, and they're talking about how civilians, Romish citizens are climbing the pass and going into the Arisha and within the wards. And she's like, you really let them, or you really opened the border? And like, first of all, bitch, you doubted him? Like, really? But
he did say he was going to regardless. Yeah. So,
and like he does what he wants. So if that's what he wanted to do, that's what he was going to do.
Yeah. Brennan with this whole like mother hen thing though is really pissing me off.
Yeah, Brennan. Oh, Brennan.
It makes me feel like a child, and I feel like if you're going to treat me like a child.
Yeah, and also you don't get to come in here acting like the concerned, caring older brother now when you let me think you were dead for 16 years.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
Bro, we don't need you.
Yeah, no thank you. Ouch. So we're still like trying to get up and trying to get her out, and she's like being all sad, and he's like, here's the question. Do you need me to take care of you or kick your ass? I'm fully capable of and willing to do both. And in her head, she says, I want him to take care of me, but I need him to kick my ass. So basically, she finishes her bath and then is like, hello, let's go. What? trying to figure out what I meant by my notes.
Oh. Well, basically, after her bath, she comes out and she finds out that her siblings are still arguing just as much as before, if not worse.
Yes.
So during all of this, she comes out and Mira doesn't notice that she is out. And so Mira essentially tells a big, giant secret that apparently was supposed to have been kept undercover. So they're talking about meeting with the grandma that has not been in their lives for years because of something that happened that made her stop talking to them. And apparently they stopped talking to her or him or whatever, that she and the family stopped talking to each other because the parents went off and dedicated her to Dune.
Yep.
Because of course they, dedicated her.
Yeah, and that's what I said. I was like, that I wrote "tell them" in my notes, and I meant tell them that what the priestess said. Tell them, yes, like,
yeah,
that's why my hair is like this. I was dedicated, but it wasn't finished.
And I still don't understand. Like, was it supposed to be finished, or was it like I don't know. Even like the end of the book doesn't answer that question for me.
Yeah. There's a lot of questions left unanswered by the end of this book, like a lot.
Yeah. I have a full tantrum coming up.
Yeah. Well, on this page 453 here, they're arguing about they were going to they think that she's going to turn and that's why her parents tried to dedicate her to Dune, because she was going to turn into a Venin. And this whole thing keeps going on and on and on and on. And finally Xaden goes, "Stop. It's not Violet, it's me." And like, that was, I realized that Xaden,
ballsy.
Yeah, I realized that he cares more about her and her safety and her happiness than he cares about his own life. But like, you're in the room with the two people that would absolutely murder you, no questions asked for her.
Well, Brendan already knows, though.
Well, right. So Mira, really.
Yeah, and here's the thing he also needs to understand is it doesn't matter that his life is doomed. It doesn't matter any of that. He's still connected.
Yeah.
Like, he still chose to be connected to Sigale. We don't even know if Sigale will be able to rip that bond apart and survive. If she doesn't survive, then Taryn goes, and it's like a catalyst effect.
Yep.
So, like, I understand that he wants to protect her any way he can, but the fuck you doing, bro?
Yeah.
And also, everyone is freaking the fuck out. And so now it's like a family, like, you kept the secret from me. How dare you? It's very soap opera-y.
Yeah, like, you kept secrets from me too.
It's like, okay, calm the fuck down. Everyone's been keeping secrets from everybody. Like, move on. Let's go now. Like, yeah, it's gonna fucking suck, but Jesus Christ, we're in a war.
Right. Like, we don't have time for this bullshit. And then Mira's pissed, and she says, "You taught her well. Good luck keeping her alive," and slams the door on her way out.
And that's the last words that we're ever saying. Yeah. And that's the last words we ever hear from Mira.
Chapter 55. I like Cat. I think I was talking about Cat and Violet. Yeah. I like their weird bitchy friendship.
It's like, keep your friends close, but your enemies closer.
Yeah, they're just like Mean Girls, where they're like subtly insulting each other the whole fucking time. But friends. Or at least allies. Yeah. And anyway, I like their weird bitchy friendship.
It's funny.
So they are working on
runes,
and Violet's having a lot of trouble because she'd always used Andarna's power because it was easier to manipulate. And now she's having to use Terran's and she's struggling. But is it Kat or Marin?
For what?
Quinn. It's Quinn. That teaches her how to do it.
Oh, I was going to say neither of them.
Where she's like, you need to manhandle the power. Like, don't coax it or ask it to do what you want. Be aggressive. Be aggressive. And that starts to work.
You gotta do what you gotta do, though.
Yeah. And then on the next page, basically, Felix is like, let's go. We need to train. And Trissa, which is the rune instructor, is like, are you sure that, like, you should push her right now? Like, but Felix knows her, and he's like, this is what she needs. Like, it's better to push her now than to wait till we're on the battlefield. And he's not wrong. Like, she needs to keep going anyway, because that's how she functions.
Well, and that's honestly how she's gonna do better faster.
Yeah.
Like,
sure.
in this way, it's like everybody else is probably like, no, she's gonna burn out. She's gonna overdo it. It's kind of like working out sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I get it, but also...
like, I also get that, though, because when I'm down, like, honestly, right now, you can't tell it from this video or from this conversation, but, like, I'm in a super depressive episode and have been for about a week. And the only thing, other than just sleeping through it, which I don't got the PTO hours for that, that will get me through it is to just keep going.
Yeah.
If I stop, I'm going to stop. So, like, I have to just keep pushing through it. So I feel like that's what Violet's doing.
Because, I mean, yeah, in the long run, she will have to keep going regardless of what's going on around her. Yeah. So it's also kind of like a general reminder for what's, going down.
Yeah. Well, and so he's kind of taking her to task right now for being where she was when the Venom came and, like, putting civilians in danger or whatever. And then he says that her squad leader has already been spoken to, that she was correct to engage farther from the battlements, but should have immediately returned to her post and intercepted those wyvern instead of gambling your lives at the temple. And then he says, your squad needs to learn some boundaries. You're not just any cadet, and they have to realize they can't go chasing after you when you make mistakes. Be that here or through the aisles. Between you taking unnecessary risks and Rearson leaving his post for you, skirt, pause. He didn't have a fucking choice in the matter. Sigale left her post for him, for Ter and Andarna. That didn't have shit to do with Xaden. And, like, she says, I understand, but, like, no. No.
She doesn't give a fuck.
Y'all need to understand is that they are Quest Squad and they're going to do what they do. And Sigale doesn't answer to humans.
Yeah. She never will.
Yeah, no.
The whole thing is just kind of unfortunate because we do find out at the end of it all that Xaden and Bodhi are fighting when they pop up. And essentially he's trying to train his replacement because he knows the end is not going to be good for him.
And I get both sides of this. I get Xaden trying to protect Bodhi as basically his heir. But I also get Bodhi's side of things, it would be really annoyed as well because, like, I didn't sign up for that. Like, that's your job. You better get your shit together and figure it out because I'm not doing it.
Because it's one of those things where it's like, I will fight for my country, blah, 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 but I don't want to rule it. That's essentially what he's saying.
Yeah. And
it's all unfortunate because that's how Violet finds out what he's doing because Bodhi ensured she heard.
Yep.
So.
And then that's the end of chapter 55. Chapter 56. King Tory the Wise, the blurb. King Tory the Wise is a dick.
He's not very wise.
No, he's a fucking idiot and he's a dick. If Terrador does not immediately restore the flow of Talladium, the consequences will be dire not only for the province, but the continent. This is not a request, it is an order from your king. This is a letter to Xaden. And Xaden is basically like, fuck you, bro.
Xaden basically said, and he can fuck right off.
Yes. Okay, and then she's in a dream. Yes? Yes.
These dreams are getting way too...
They're super weird. And so I was like, is the sage a dreamwalker too? Like,
I don't know if...
They're supposed to be balanced, right? Like, are there intensics on their side as well? Like...
Well, and considering Violet's a dreamwalker, it could be her. Like, her actual double.
Could be.
Who knows?
But yeah, I was just like, what the fuck is happening? These dreams are getting really, really fucking confusing. But then on page 464, she wakes up and they're talking.
Like, realizes.
Yeah, she realizes, wait a second. I don't have Andarna's power anymore. I shouldn't still have this power. Like, I shouldn't still have this signet. And that adds credit to my theory that that's not the signet that Andarna gave her. I feel like she has 2 signets from Taryn. And
2 from Taryn?
Yeah.
Well, that actually kind of makes sense because when she was in the deep sleep, like, she could feel her power, but, like, barely feel it. Like, it was null and void. And that's when that's, like, when she needed it the most. So, like...
Yeah. And she's been having these dreams forever.
Yeah, possibly.
So, I feel like that is not what she got from Andarna. But I don't know.
I also thought, like, maybe she had because her hair is natural. Like that.
Maybe.
That if she, like, was in fact touched by Dune for her whatever power, that maybe it was Dune's power.
Could be.
Or, like, something given to her by them.
Yeah. I didn't think about that. It could be.
It's the only other variable.
Yeah. And then while they're trying to figure all of this out, Garrick shows up.
Beaten to a bloody pulp.
Yeah, he's beaten up real bad, and he has this giant shield. And he said, there's a message from their lightning wielder to both Xaden and Violet. And it says, they've reached the walls of Drathis. She said that if that isn't threat enough, you have 5 hours to bring Bodhi and Violet, or she dies.
Is that what it really said?
No. We find that out in the next chapter, I think.
Okay.
It's just weird that translating.
Yeah.
I think. Or like assuming.
Or yeah, he's translating it wrong. It's weird that like Bodhi was requested. So I'm like, the fuck? That's weird. Why?
I don't think it was actually Bodhi. Like as we read on, it wasn't actually Bodhi.
Yeah.
But Garrick assumes that. And then Xaden goes, who? Because they're thinking Andarna. Violet's like, there's no way the Irids would let her get her hands on Andarna. But it's not a shield that Garrick is carrying. It is a large green scale that matches the exact shade of Violet's armor.
She has Mira and her dragon.
She has Mira. I literally wrote, why Bodhi? Question mark. Bitch has Mira?
I know, I was like, that's a weird choice for Bodhi, but okay. And then I was like, oh, damn.
Yeah.
First of all, I'm skipping over the most important part here.
Right. And that's the end of chapter 56.
Yeah.
So chapter 57, they're like taking their sweet ass time, making plans, doing the things, arguing about what they're going to do. And I just need them to understand that they need to hurry the fuck up or Miss Gryffindor energy over here is going to go turn herself in. She's going to take it all out of their hands.
Makes me wonder how like realistic this is to real time, like active war. Like, is this like Desert Storm?
Right.
Like, y'all know this is about to happen.
They're still just taking their time and arguing.
Yeah,
and they're like,
so stupid.
Felix is like, you're not ready. And she's like, I don't give a fuck. It's my sister.
I'm going to have to be. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And, you know, Felix has been quite the naysayer recently, and that's kind of really pissing me off.
Yeah. But like, I feel like sometimes that's kind of what Violet needs.
Yeah.
Like, she needs someone to be like, you can't do it. And then she's like, bet, watch me. And she does it. But at the top of page 470, who is it? Xaden or Dane? She says, Garrick, tell me exactly what her demand was. Why does she want Bodhi? Garrick says, I don't know. She said to bring Violet and your brother, and they'll let Drathis stand. And Xaden's like, oh, fuck. She said, brother. And Garrick goes, yeah, everyone knows you were raised together. She wasn't talking about Bodhi. She's Venom. She was talking about Jack.
I do like where she went with, oh my god, Liam. I was like, that would be a twisted, fucking twisted thing.
Yeah.
But okay then. And you know what? I'm honestly really enjoying this cruel and unusual way of like handling things with
yeah.
It's kind of one of that, it's like that, it's like that comment that people say, it's like, oh, Disney is now healing generational trauma. What happened to the good old villains? And I was like, I'll take both, but this is actually really nice to like read about, because I don't know, I feel like when you're writing like a fantasy novel, a lot of the time things are very common and you're like, oh, okay, like you're not going to like do this or do that. Okay, well then I'm gonna hold your sister and then you can bring your brother. Like, I think that's funny.
Right.
Like, I don't know, I think it's just more of a sinister plan.
I do like the exchange though from 470 to 471 where Brennan is basically like, you need to choose, are we going to basically save the civilians or are we going to save Mira? And
Theophany made her fail.
Yeah, and she doesn't choose either one of those. She says, I would kill Theophany. And Brennan was like, I'm impressed. That was not on my list.
Well, it's funny too, because she's like, all right, well, this bitch wants to save everybody. I'm gonna give her choices that she has to decide from, and none of them is gonna, like, one of them's gonna lose. Like, that's it. That's final. And it's like, damn.
Yeah, and then Brennan gives them very explicit, like, this is what this is what I need from you all. And if this plan is going to work, you have to follow it to a T. And that's the end of chapter 57.
Bada bing, bada boom.
So, chapter 58. Are you chuckling at Terrence's banter?
Terrence's banter and just the end of this.
Oh my gosh. So there's banter with Terran, and she's like, do you agree that this is a trap? He's like, of course, but you already know that, otherwise we would have discussed it over the last 3.5 hours. And then she's like feeling guilty about all of this, and he's like, do not dishonor me with such emotions. And then she goes, and how does Sigale feel about me endangering Xaden? Had she not agreed, she would still be in Arisha and your Dark One would be walking. It's just funny. I just love it.
And I think this is kind of what she needs right now, because she's trying to feel guilty for herself. Like, she's not trying to feel like
fuck that bullshit.
Yeah, like, bitch, we ain't got time for that. That type of shit right now is going to get you killed. Like, we need to think now and how to survive. You can feel guilty when you survive this.
Mm-hmm.
Until then, guilt is off the table.
Absolutely.
And I vibe with that, because that's what I need.
Yeah. And then they're flying. And
they're flying towards the cliffs.
Yeah. And Mulvik has been spotted among the cliffs. Which is not where he's supposed to be. Nor is it where Eric is supposed to be.
Yeah, it really makes no sense to me why Eric is flying away from it all.
He's apparently got his own plan. I don't know.
Thanks, Eric. Would be real nice to know this plan of yours.
Right.
Any of the plans from the last few months would have been dope to know.
Yep. And then, I only have one more thing to say about this chapter.
All I gotta say is I really like Theophany. She's one hell of a villain for, this group here, but what she did was vile.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know what? This is what I'm saying about being a damn good villain.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to say before I go on this rant?
Nope, go ahead.
Okay, so...
You already know what I said.
Yeah. So...
But I will say, do you remember when I texted you that I was fucking sobbing?
Yeah. You know what's really funny? I didn't even cry during this. I was like... I think I was more confused than anything. I was like, what the fuck?
I was also sobbing when Andarna left, but this was...
Oh, I sobbed when Andarna left. I didn't cry during this, which I was really kind of surprised. And then there's another scene that I, start crying. And I'm like, my eyes were so wet. I had to, hold the book up so I can read it. Because if I was looking down, then,
Yeah, you got that, in your eyelashes.
And then I'm like... And then Will's like... Because he's watching TV and I was reading last night and he just puts his arm on my arm and I look over at him and I start laughing. And then I'm just crying some more because it's popping out now because I'm closing my eyes. And he was like, are you going to be okay? I was like, I don't know. So then I had to just stop reading, breathe for a second. And then I was like, oh, I got 2 more chapters to go. And he goes, are you dreading it? And I was like, I just don't know what is left.
Yeah, what could there possibly be left?
I like feel like this is the end, and that's final. Like, and I just don't know what's happening now. And now I'm getting other point of views at this point. So like, I'm so confused about what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And then after I was finished, he was like, "Are you gonna be okay?" And I was like, "What the fuck?" He was like, "Okay, she's annoyed." And I never expected her to be annoyed after that. I thought she'd be sobbing. And I was like, "I'm just confused." Okay.
Yeah, I would agree.
Anyways,
but yeah,
so I think she would make a damn good villain, or she is making, like, she does make a damn good villain. So basically, she's got Mira by the throat, with a knife to her throat. Like, Mira's trying to save the day. Mira's trying to do what is given of her, whatever. And then it's essentially Xaden, and Violet talking to Theophany. And so she says, Violet says, let them go. Theophany says, not yet, and 4-on-1 hardly seems fair, because it's essentially the four of them.
Bodhi,
Xaden,
Brennan, Xaden, and Violet.
Yeah. And she thinks that it's hardly fair. And then she glances at Brennan and Bodhi, and she goes, I didn't ask for either of you to attend. And she's like, Violet goes, I thought you requested brothers. Next time, be more specific about who's invited. And Theophany says, and yet you didn't bring the brother he wanted. Berwin will be so disappointed. And so he's talking about Jack, because apparently he spills too many secrets very easily, and those are mistakes that Berwin made with Jack, and that he's not going to she will not do that same thing. So then she thinks that she's going to get like, she thinks this is just her way of getting Violet to why am I forgetting her fucking name?
I don't know. I said her name earlier and was like, that's not her name. Yeah, it is.
Yeah. I don't know. Anyways, so Theophany thinks this is like the best way to get her to change, by meeting these demands, and then like, okay, well, thanks for meeting all these demands. You're still gonna change though, just so you know. And so like they're arguing about that. And then she's like, I'm intrigued to see what the actual catalyst will be. Saving your sister, defending your lover, or the trite yet always popular revenge. I'm betting on a combination of all three. Speaking of which, time is up. And then Garrick pops up with the Jack.
Chest.
Yeah, and then Theophany wants to see him, and then she's like, oh, there he is. But I don't risk taking my eyes off her to examine how Jack's doing, especially not when Mira looks like she might pass out in any second. Theophany says, just one little matter of business to attend to, and then we'll begin. She goes, both Jack and I are here. Our end of the deal is fulfilled, so let Mira and Tyne go. And Theophany said, that wasn't the deal. I say we'd let Drathus stand, not let that your sister would live. Her mouth curves in a sadistic smile. First thing to learn about us is that we are careful with our words, and the second, we also lie. And then she slits Mira's throat. So that right there is why I think she makes a damn good villain.
Yep.
Because she's just taunting them at that point, and then she's like, haha, just kidding. Yeah. That's kind of villain I would be. That's probably why I like it so much. Be like, bitch.
She's a very well written villain.
Yeah, she is.
For sure.
To be honest, I expected more from, like, this is the kind of person I expected of. I about called her Regina George. It's not Regina George. I'm thinking Akatar. redhead bitch, Amarantha.
Oh, I was like, what are you talking about?
I have expected her to be that kind of person. Like, the way she was described,
yeah,
I was like, oh, damn, like, she's evil.
Maybe in another life.
Maybe, I don't know.
But
Theophany was damn terrifying.
Yeah, and that's the end of chapter 58. 59.
And that's a new world record. Oh.
Oh, are we stopping there?
I don't know. I did 6.
I was going through 59 and then doing the last 7 chapters on the next episode.
Okay. Go ahead. 59.
59.
I was skipping paragraphs.
I fucking thought that Brendan was going to channel here.
Oh. Yes.
Like, I thought that Brennan was going to come over to try to mend her, and that he was going to channel.
Yeah.
He does not. But on page 478, Taryn, or no, wait.
Oh, Dane pops up out of nowhere.
Oh, and Bodhi's like, how much we trust in Atos these days? Not enough for what he just saw.
Yeah, because now Dane knows that he's a Venom.
Yeah, and Sloane is also there.
Mm-hmm.
Sloane is also there.
Yeah, so Sloane shows up. I don't know, to be honest, I really have no idea why Sloane showed up. I have no idea what she thought she was going to be doing.
Well, she was supposed to bring...
Oh, she brought something for Eric.
From Eric. And I'm like, excuse me, but what did Eric think that Vi needed so badly that he sent Sloane into battle?
Yeah.
Like,
well,
to the
and then
front
because
line.
Sloane left, Dane had to come with. And so now we have both of them there. And Brennan's he doesn't have enough power to save Mira. He is starting to burn out.
But
Sloane's right. But Sloane's right there.
And if you remember, Sloane is a siphon.
And the last time Sloane did anything like this, she killed a Sorrengail.
She did.
There's quite a possibility that another Sorrengail would die. Maybe 2. We don't fucking know. There might be the only living legacy left. However,
no.
Sloane is quite confident after Dane talks to her and essentially says, you're taking my power and you're going over here. And Dane describes it beautifully. Like he's saying that your life itself, you are moving the power around and manipulating it basically. Yeah. So essentially he tells her to go ahead and grab his power and transfer it through her to Brennan, and does exactly that, and takes enough to save Mira.
Yep.
Which is crazy.
Wild. Of all the timing. But also, are we gonna fucking open what he sent? Eric has proved over and over and over again that he knows something more and that he's got something else going on.
So he's very fucking important.
Not just sending you shit for no reason. So I'm very irritated that she doesn't immediately open whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah.
But she doesn't.
Well, she doesn't because her sister's alive. You know what that means?
Right.
Mira survived. That means someone else is going to die, because that's the way it fucking goes in fantasy books. A well-loved character dies and another I don't want to say more important character, but another character dies and you're just like, are you fucking got me fucked up, bro.
Yeah. So then Xaden leaves, right? And yeah, and then Bodhi goes, now that the Duke of Angst is gone, we have a problem. Of course we do, and also that nickname is Life. So
I love it.
Of course we have a problem. Why wouldn't we? And that is the end of chapter 59. And this episode.
And a new world record for this episode.
You're correct. This is a record for how short this episode was. Yeah.
It was just so like jam-packed with like details that weren't necessary.
Yeah, like stuff that we didn't necessarily need to talk about. But yeah, the important part is that she makes us think that Mira is dead, and then she saves her.
Bitch.
So.
Anyways. All right. Until next time.
Bye.